Referrals, referrals, referrals. We all talk about referrals. Referrals are actually really powerful. An introduction is amazing. The issue is when it comes to LinkedIn, we just think about it from the standpoint, I'm just going to spam some people and get some appointments. However, there's a much easier, simple, low-hanging fruit right before your eyes, and Brynne is going to tell you all about that today. Ooh-wee, it's going to be so good. You're going to love it. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. On this episode, we have the one and only Brynne Tillman. We're bringing her back on the show. And Brynne is a LinkedIn whiz, man. She got so much knowledge, experience, and just like straight up data and all kinds of goodness that you can apply. As you know, somebody that loves LinkedIn like I do, I would highly recommend you check her out as well because she has some really interesting stuff when it comes to LinkedIn. And specifically today, we're going to talk about one that's just so simple. I don't care if you're connected with 10 people or 20 people. You could apply the principles today and you can see advances and build pipeline. Like it's just the truth. It works. So as we listen to Brynne, I want you to apply these things. If you are listening to our podcast for the first time, this show is designed to help you to 3 to 5x your sales pipeline in normal, natural ways and help you to 2x your close rate. I mean, you could double your close rate, at least double. Obviously, you can do way more than that. But the thing about it is, man, if we want you to thrive, and that's at least a standard, a bare minimum that you should be starting with. As we dive into the episode, you get a chance to hear a little bit about Brynne. You get a chance to understand about her business and why she's so passionate about LinkedIn as much as we are. Please consider subscribing to our podcast if you haven't done so already. Let's go ahead and get a chance to hear about Brynne and find out what this low-hanging fruit is. Brynne, welcome to the show.
I am so excited to be back here, Donald. I'm thrilled. It's been a while, but man, you have one of the best podcasts out there, so it's such an honor to be part of it.
Well, you sure know how to make a kid feel good. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I bragged about you a little bit in a teaser, especially with your knowledge and experience with LinkedIn and helping sales teams and organization. But take a minute, Brynne, and tell us a little bit more about you and your organization.
Essentially, we help sales professionals get to hello faster and at a high level of credibility. It's about starting more sales conversations that are trust-based, not sales-oriented, to open up conversations and identify if someone is a potential opportunity or not. So it's really clear that what we do is about slowing down the outreach to speed up the outcome. It's about detaching from what the prospect is worth to us and attaching to what we are worth to the prospect. So our LinkedIn outreach and everything that we do is really about showing up in a way that we are providing so much value that our prospects can't wait to have a conversation.
I love this idea. I did an episode recently just about how sales reps we're often in the locked in position to sell when buyers usually are not relatively ready to buy. I mean, only a subset of a market is so ready to buy, on an outreach. But what we do see is that buyers are willing to learn. And like you're saying, when you come with this trusted idea and you're able to do this, it makes such an easier turnaround. And I go back to what you're saying there. The last part is that you're obviously at that a natural outcome of that is going to see an increase because it's you're not shooting like 10,000 emails out the gate. You're building those valuable relationships and those close a lot faster when opportunities do arise. So I love it.
Yeah,
This is why
absolutely.
you're so brilliant. Oh, this is why I'm excited to have you on the episode today. And in particular, you and I were talking about a low-hanging fruit that many sales professionals have, all of us have, when it comes to LinkedIn, and we don't take advantage of it, and that's referrals, or we don't take advantage of enough. Talk to me about that. What exactly do you mean by referrals when it comes to LinkedIn, and why are we so lackadaisical towards it?
Yeah, so I'm going to bring it all the way up that 15,000 foot view and say we're going to call this is leveraging your social proximity. So that's where we want to start. Let's take a look at how we are connected to our buyers. So at the highest level, we are a first degree connection to our targeted market.
Mm-hmm.
That's not typical, right? But it's possible. So we can talk about, we have to take inventory and identify who we're already connected to. But that's the ultimate social proximity, is I have a first degree connection with my buyer. Next in line might be I have a first degree connection at the company that I can potentially leverage to get to the decision maker, or I have a client who's connected to that buyer. So, ultimately there are lots of pathways in to all of our stakeholders, the buyers, the influencers, the users. And so the pathway in is most open when it's through referral. So what is a referral? Well, we actually break it up into, there's like kind of three. So there's a referral, an introduction, and permission to name drop. So a referral typically is when a client says, "Hey, I've been working with Donald for the last 3 years. He's fantastic. You need to talk to him." That's a referral.
Hmm.
An introduction might be someone in their network that I haven't worked with, but they've seen my content. They know who I am. There's been some rapport building, and they may make an introduction internally or even to someone else in their network, not having worked with us, but understanding the credibility that we're bringing to their company. That might be an introduction. So referral person is someone that has worked with you. An introduction is someone that is aware of you, knows you, trusts you, likes you, and is willing to open up their network to get you in front of them. Now, permission to name drop can actually be on either side. It could be on the referral side or the introduction side. It is almost as successful. So the statistics really are somewhere, and these are our own. We haven't done huge research. It's just our observation and statistics from ourselves and our clients, is about
Sure.
50% of the people that you get referred to will 100% will connect with you, or 99, I mean very few will not connect. 50% of them will take your call, and typically depending on what you do, there will be about a 50% pipeline opportunity now or in the future. So if you have 10, it'll turn into 2 or 3 opportunities. So if we're getting referrals, about 25% of the people we are referred to will convert to an opportunity, not a close, but an open opportunity at one point. The next level down, which is an introduction, we are still close to above a 90% acceptance rate. The only time that it's not working is when someone says, "Hey, I'm happy to, introduce you to someone, but I don't know them." That's
Mm.
almost cold, right? So
Yeah.
it's not, and I'll take it if they're offering it, but it's almost cold. So I prefer running 20 names by them, getting them to say, "Hey, these 8 I know, and I think it would be helpful." And then I can make some introductions for you.
Love that.
Those are also just as powerful. So it could be a networking partner, it could be someone you worked with years ago, but that you've identified in LinkedIn that they are connected to your buyer. And so we're leveraging that relationship. That permission to name drop, that kind of runs between the two. I use more with clients than anyone else. And I'm going to tell you just a quick story why. When I had done this with a client who loves us, has had great success, and was really excited to help me by making some introductions, got really busy.
Mm.
And then when I was reaching out for other purposes, started to ghost me because they were embarrassed that they hadn't done the introductions that they promised. And so now we have
Yes.
repaired the relationship, and she knows that I use this example all the time. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of times I don't want to ask my clients to do that work now. So
Mm.
permission to name drop can be very helpful. Now, if there's one person on that list that was their college roommate, great. If you're willing to do that, that's fabulous. But I now want to take control of the sales cycle, and I'll reach out and say, hey, Donald, Bob Woods and I were chatting. Your name came up in conversation. He says hello.
Yeah.
We were talking about X, Y, and Z, and he thought it might be a great idea for us to connect and explore how we might be able to work together. If you're open, please accept my connection request. You accept the connection request. Now I respond back with, thanks so much for connecting. Per Bob's recommendation, I'm looking forward to getting to know you a little bit more. Please let me know your preferred way of scheduling. If it happens to be via calendar link, here's mine.
Love
And
it.
now, this is not a discovery call yet, guys. Like, this is really important for you to get. This, if they come back with, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this solution, great. But be careful. This is where we have to slow it down and build rapport and learn about them, find out how you can be of service to them, and then wait for them to say, so tell me a little bit about what you do. And
Mm.
wait and have patience, because when they ask you, they'll listen. When you start to talk about it uninvited, they will see it as a bait and switch.
I love this. And I think the beautiful side of it is like how easy this is to do. And it doesn't matter where you are with your LinkedIn connections. Everyone probably has everyone at least one or 10 people they're connected to, that they can do something like this with. And it's just so low hanging. It's just right there. Why? My question is, why do you feel, in your experience, and you've worked with a lot of teams and individual, why are people not taking advantage of this approach enough?
Yeah. So I will say that there are a few things. The number one thing I get is, I don't know most of the people in my network,
Yep, I hear that one.
right? So I will say, about 10%. About 10% of your connections, take inventory. Whether you search for your first degree connections, we love, you and I, Donald, we use Sales Navigator. But you can search in the free. It's not as good, but you can search your first degree connections. You can even export your connections into an Excel spreadsheet and take inventory and take a look at who are the clients, current and past, who are your prospects that you're connected to that you're ignoring, who
Mm,
are the referral partners and networking partners that you're connected to that you should be re-engaging. And like you said, I mean, the average person now, we're up to 750 connections. The average person has on LinkedIn,
it's amazing.
750 connections. That means 10%, guys. 10%, I think, is about 75. That's a really good place to start.
And if you think about that, like I'm thinking of a room, Brand, with 75 people. That's a decent sized room. That's like you go to a hotel conference. That's a room that you're talking about there. And I think oftentimes we look at it and we're like saying, "Well, I don't have thousands of people." Oftentimes I'm like, those
Mhm.
thousands of people usually don't. Those people with thousands of people, like say mine, I have 18,000, but doesn't necessarily mean I'm connected to all on a personal relationship. But when you have a smaller network, it's way easier to have that true connection and to have 75 people that you can get business from, that you could potentially reach out to and have business conversation with from your prospect. It's like it's amazing. It's a gold mine. And I love your approach to 3 different levels, because that makes it so much more easier. And the other part that I like what you shared is one that I taught people when it comes to general referrals is like, take the work out of it for them, especially when you say, here are the 20 that I saw that I wanted to ask specifically about. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, and you run it by them in 20. If we're in the 10% range, right? You're going
Hmm.
to get 2 or 3 out of 20. In some cases, it could be a little bit higher.
Yeah,
Um, right. But you're going to get 2 or 3 that are meaningful introductions. That's a lot.
that's a
It's
lot.
a 10-minute conversation. And so I love to go in there with a list, and I'll create a list in Sales Navigator, get on Zoom with someone and say, can I quickly go through these with you?
Hmm.
and they'll say yes, no, yes, no. And I save them in a lead list under their name.
Yeah.
So I will create this list. I now save them, and now I have maybe there's 100, and in 10 minutes, and I will ask if they go, "Ooh, that's a good one." In notes in Sales Navigator, I'll say, "How do you know them?"
Yeah.
And I can, like, in 15 minutes, we could go through 80, 100 names because only 10% of them are going to be good. So
Yeah.
you're only taking notes on 10 people,
It's
and
absolutely
it's
amazing.
really great. Yeah.
You mentioned something at the beginning where it's like this idea, and I'm paraphrasing here. The scaling concept. It's not a huge, number of outreach, where you're sending out thousands of, like an email, or auto dialing thousands
Hmm.
of people.
Hmm.
How do you get sales leaders to embrace this idea to
Hmm.
slow down the process when they usually are pushing BDRs and AEs? Go book appointments, do
Yeah.
activities.
Um,
How do you do
it's
this,
an
Brynne?
it's a lift, and I'll tell you, it really is. And when people say, who's your competition? My competition, well, it's status quo. That's all of our competition. But even bigger are
Yeah.
the ridiculous automation tools. We can
Oh,
do this at scale for $50 a month, and we can reach out. They're coming back. Their reps are getting their accounts shut down. It's not productive. Do people accept their connection? I mean, it's literally
no.
like going out to, it's like, this is what it's like in my head is you're at a conference and you're walking around to all the tables and just picking up their business cards and sticking them in your pocket. That's what these connections are, right? Like, okay.
I got
So,
leads. I
that
got leads.
I got leads.
Oh my goodness.
So often they come back and say, "Well, that didn't work," and I tell them, "Come back with these are the risks. First of all, it is breaking LinkedIn's user agreement 8.2.2, so I can never advocate for it. Number two." Be careful, because if you tell your reps to do this and their account is closed down permanently, as a company, you have liability in that.
Hmm.
So just keep in mind, right? Like they do. And especially now that they know that they're breaking the
Yeah.
user agreement, right? And I'm like, and when it doesn't work, come on back. But here's the thing: the what brings them over is the relationship aspect.
Mm.
Marketing is for mass outreach. Sales is one on one. So
Amen to
if you
that.
want your marketing group to leverage LinkedIn, there are lots of mass ability, you can advertise, you can get in front of targeted markets. Even your content is reaching beyond your network done well. All of that is important, but your salespeople should not be doing that. So your salespeople should be engaging with the right people, and they can share content that your company creates to stay top of mind and engage with the people that are engaging with that content. And they can do polls and get their prospects to vote on their polls. But the job of sales is to start a real conversation. It's not likes, it's not comments. The bottom line is, if you want to create sales opportunities, you need to have, I used to say phone calls. I'm fine with a Zoom call, right? And, and a lot of salespeople say, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. And I'm fine with that. But pick up the phone when they already know who you are.
Mm.
Pick up the phone when you've engaged with them a few times, when you've done your homework and your research, when they know your name. And I'm like, "Hey, it's Brynne, your new LinkedIn buddy. I thought I'd reach out. I really love the post you just put out." And they're like, "Hey, Brynne." Those are the calls I want to make, right?
Yeah,
So
and I think those are the
that's
ones that the people love the most, anyways, right? It's when people can feel that there is a genuine connection. We call it a point of reference. When I can look back and say, I'm seeing this email or I'm hearing this phone call. who is this person? I can associate them back to something. And that point of reference could be that relationship that was prompted or started on LinkedIn. Or that introduction or whatnot. So that makes that cold call automatically change to a warm call right out the gate. So I'm
Yeah.
advocate for that. Any other tips you have for individual sales reps are saying, boy, Brynne, I've never tried this before, but I'm going to try it this week. What advice would you give them to get over that hump to start reaching out
Well,
for
okay.
these
So
connections?
the first piece is pull out all of your business cards with rubber bands in the corner of your desk if you're old like me, and start connecting with everyone you have a conversation with, and like make LinkedIn your contacts, everyone, because this works when the more people you know that you're connected to, the better this works. So that's the first thing. The next thing is start with your warmest, happiest customers that are just easy to talk to, or with someone that has already referred business to you or you to them. So don't start with someone that's brand new, like you know them, but you've never done any kind of business. Really, like, just start in your comfort zone. A lot of sales trainers will say, you got to get out of your box. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. And what I'm going to say is fill the box, fill the comfort zone. Do these things with people that you already have a relationship with. So if it's awkward, it's okay. And you
Yeah.
can say to them, all right, this is the first time I'm doing this. I heard this on a podcast. Let's give it a shot, right? Practice it with people that you have a deep relationship with. And it's great if it's two ways, right? Go to your networking partners to do this so that you can make introductions on their behalf as well. So
Yeah.
get comfortable with the people that you're comfortable with, and then you can expand it out to your broader network.
Brilliant. Brynne, if somebody's listening to this episode today and they're like, man, this stuff was fire. I want to try this. I want to connect with Brynne, see what else she has. Is there a best way for them to go about connecting with you? And you have a podcast as well, if you don't mind speaking about that for a second.
Yeah, I'm on a couple that I co-host Making Sales Social. I co-host Sales Navigator with Stan and Brynne, and I co-host Jack Rants with Brynne. So I'm on a whole bunch right now. It's really fun, but Making Sales Social is my primary podcast. And we've got lots of stuff there. And we also have a free library that's like free forever at socialsaleslink.com/library or linkedinlibrary.com. And I mean, there's tons of things, and I'll even link back this podcast in that library.
I love it. Well, there you go. You have a ton of assets, free stuff you could take advantage of to be able to find useful. But this referral idea, it's very simple. You can go ahead and try it. Connect with Brynne on LinkedIn. Brynne, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We have a link down in the show notes towards your stuff. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Donald. You're awesome. You're doing great things and like amazing. You're transforming our industry, and I love it.
Well, thank you. I learned from the best. That was Brynne Tillman. I'm telling you, that was some really good stuff. Well, I'm about to go hit up a few people right now. You're probably one of them. Look at your LinkedIn connections and see who you know that could benefit from our services and ask for that intro. That's all it takes. That is all it takes. And I want to hold you to it. I want you to go ahead and connect with Brynne on LinkedIn or me and just say, I'm going to try this today. I'm going to try it. Like if you do that, this could radically change your quarter. I promise you. It is a powerful principle, but most of us don't take advantage of it. So I want you to try it. Test it out. Let us know. If you want to check out our sales mastermind, you can find more information at thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. It's a group where we help sales professionals like you and me to be able to stay accountable, to help us to stay accountable when it comes to our outreach and to implement strategies like this, and to make sure it's not a training program, but make sure we have the guidance and the help and the coaching from other sales reps, our peers, as well as a sales leader like myself that can guide you on it. If you want to find out more information, again, go to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. We will help you hit that quota this quarter. Check it out. As always, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to raise the level of thinking. I want you, more importantly, to go out, take advantage of the strategies today, and do big things. I'll see you in the next one.